Ladies and gentlemen, Behind the Line proudly presents to you another exciting edition of the Woke! Turning on the Woke. This episode is brought to you by Introduction to Indoctrination. Are you a new convert to Woke United Methodist looking to learn the ways of the wanker spanker? Are you eager to learn how to be easily offended? Let us deprogram your quality education by signing up for Introduction to Indoctrination. ITI offers rigorous courses for those looking to be easily offended. We have chapters on the white man, entire books dedicated to Eve becoming Steve. By the end of this course, you'll be flying the broom with the wicked weave Joy Reid. Sign up today at iwanttobeindoctrinated.com. How many times do I have to say it? How many times do I have to repeat myself? Well, Casey, are you going to say there is no loyalty in the woke movement? No, but that would also apply here. Caitlin Clark is the latest convert to Woke United Methodist to learn this lesson the hard way. What I was going to say again was, you can't please everyone. When you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. And to make matters worse, when you try to appease everyone, you end up pissing everyone off instead. This week, Caitlin Clark was honored by Time Magazine as Athlete of the Year. Now, instead of taking her moment and thanking her family, thanking her friends, and her loyal fan base that helped her become the star that she is today, Caitlin Clark, she decided to atone for her mythical white privilege, and she tried to share her spotlight with unknown dump divers in the WNBA, most of which can't stand the fact that Caitlin Clark is the face of pretend basketball. Perhaps Caitlin Clark thought that pretending to recognize her white privilege would make her more likable to her colleagues. I busted my ass to get where I am, but I recognize that other white people are privileged. Perhaps Caitlin Clark thought that sharing the spotlight, shining the mainstream light on unrecognizable names and unrecognizable faces would increase her friend requests from WNBA players on Blue Sky. Hey there, bearded Claire, it's me, Katie. I know you're jealous of my success, but can we be friends? Maybe Caitlin Clark thought that, well, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what the hell Caitlin Clark was thinking. All I know is she thought wrong. If she thought recognizing mythical white privilege was going to cause WNBA players and their pretend friends in the mainstream media to accept her, she thought wrong. Not only are they not accepting her, we now have the co-owner of the dump in Washington, D.C. I think they call themselves the Mythicals, the Mysticals, the Marginals. Who cares? It doesn't matter what their name is. They had to move their games out of the high school gym and into the neighborhood park because they couldn't fill the bleachers even when they were giving away free tickets. But we now have the co-owner of the Mythicals displaying her jealousy and downplaying the impact Caitlin Clark had on the WNBA. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Zone Grip. If you're anything like me when you're playing golf, one of the biggest frustrations is the slice when you're driving the ball off the tee. Whether it's an immediate slice or a descending slice, it is incredibly frustrating because it destroys your chance for par. It ruins the rest of your game. Luckily, I have found the perfect solution to eliminate the slicing from your golf swing: Zone Grip. Zone Grip is the ultimate training tool that will help you refine the weaknesses in your golf game. Whether it's your driver, your irons, your wedges, Zone Grip is the perfect tool to teach you the fundamentals. Zone Grip is designed to help you achieve the perfect grip and the perfect angles for each swing. It's also designed to help with your backswing by assisting you with muscle memory and technique required for an effective swing. Zone Grip was featured in the 2024 PGA Inventor Spotlight, and they have also been endorsed by LPGA legend Nancy Taylor. This would be the perfect Christmas gift for the golfer in your family who is struggling with their golf swing. If you want it to arrive by Christmas, You need to place your order immediately. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL20, BTL20. Start swinging like a pro and save 20% off your first purchase with Zone Grip. Thursday night, Sheila Johnson was the guest with someone on CNN. I know I joke around about the on-air lack of talent at CNN being unrecognizable, but I am being serious. I have no idea who in the hell this is hosting this show and interviewing Sheila Johnson. Set looks really nice, lighting is good, the production values are excellent, but the two lovely women featured on the show, they would not be recognized if their picture was hanging on their own refrigerator. One of these lovely ladies is Sheila Johnson. Casey, who in the hell is Sherry Johnson? Is she the inspiration for that Steve Perry song? Oh, Sherry, our players can't dunk, can't dunk. Sheila Johnson is the co-owner of the Washington Marginals, which is a fitting team name because it perfectly describes the attendance levels at their games. Sheila was explaining to the lovely unrecognized host at CNN that Caitlin Clark should not receive all the credit for elevating the WNBA dump. Now, according to Sheila, there are dozens of talented players in the WNBA who don't receive recognition because all the recognition is being given to Caitlin Clark. Now, let me summarize before I show you this clip. We have an unrecognized WNBA owner complaining to an unrecognized host at CNN about unrecognized players in the WNBA not being recognized. You got it? Watch for yourself.
And this year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark, it's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized, and I don't think we can just pin it on one player. I want to be very diplomatic about this. It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have. Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings.
I can't stand it when people say, I want to be diplomatic about this. Don't be diplomatic. Be real, be honest. You know what it means when someone says they want to be diplomatic? It means I'm not going to tell you what I really think, but I'm going to give you just enough for you to assume. That way, if there is any backlash, I have room to deny everything and cover my own ass. According to Sheila Johnson, something clicked in the WNBA this year. Something didn't click. Someone did. One. I think it's interesting that Mrs. Sheila is trying to spread the credit while downplaying the impact of Caitlin Clark because she should know better than anyone else how Caitlin Clark can have a positive impact on her charity, which she mistakenly calls a business. Caitlin Clark played 2 games in Washington, D.C. this past season. 2! Now, there are 40 games in the WNBA regular season. I'm assuming that 20 of those games are played at home, which means Caitlin Clark was on the court for 10% of the home games in Washington, D.C. Yet somehow, she sold 31% of their tickets this season. 2 games represented 31% of their ticket sales. If I had to guess, it was the same throughout the rest of the WNBA. But I do happen to partially agree here with Sheila Johnson. She mentioned the mainstream media and their weird obsession with race, although it was ironic because she literally made this interview about race, and a lot of these players in the WNBA are obsessed with race. But anyway, she mentioned the media's weird obsession with race while complaining about minority players in the dump not being recognized for their talent. Now, Sheila Johnson is right. I'm sure there are some talented players in the WNBA who none of us know about. The reason we don't know about them is because we're not watching. Why are we not watching? Because the product is substandard. Talent doesn't always equal recognition. Talent doesn't always equate to fame. There are some very talented people who are starving. There are talented people who go unrecognized at family reunions. Just because you're talented, that does not automatically mean you're a star. Sheila Johnson alluded to the fact that the attention that Caitlin Clark receives, it is creating hard feelings throughout the WNBA. Basically, Sheila Johnson admitted to what Uncle KC has been saying all season. WNBA dump divers, they are jealous of Caitlin Clark. That right there, that is why this league is a disaster. This right here is why the WNBA has never turned a profit. How many times have you heard about NBA players being jealous of LeBron James? Back in the 90s, how many times did you hear about players being jealous of Michael Jordan? During the 1980s, Vince McMahon and the WWF, they used to run 3 tours at the same time. Back then, they called them house shows, but the company, they would be running shows in 3 different cities all at the same time. Guess which tour all the wrestlers wanted to be on? They wanted to be included on the shows where Hulk Hogan was the main event. Why? Because they knew those were the shows that would draw the most money. The drawing power of Hulk Hogan, it was feeding dozens of families. The guys in the mid-card, they weren't jealous of Hulk Hogan. They appreciated him because they were laughing all the way to the bank. This is something that WNBA players can't seem to understand, and they better be careful because they could be on the precipice of getting exactly what they want. Well, maybe not exactly what they want. I think some of these dump divers want Caitlin Clark to go away. They're not going to get that wish, but they might get something close. If Caitlin Clark isn't careful, she could fade away from the mainstream. I'm not talking about the mainstream media. Now that she has atoned for her mythical white privilege, I'm sure some in the mainstream media will glorify her wokeness. Matter of fact, we're going to be talking about that later this afternoon. But I'm talking about Caitlin Clark losing her appeal with normal people. If that happens, what the hell's the WNBA going to do? What are they going to do if their cash cow becomes dry roast? This dump lost $40 million with Caitlin Clark at the height of her popularity. What are they going to do if that popularity declines? You tell me. Also, give me your thoughts on Caitlin Clark atoning for her white privilege not being enough for acceptance in the WNBA. I know. Shocker. Sound off in the comments below. Best way to contact me is through email, btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys later.